A note. Following advice from Work-Life Imbalance may lead to action being taken by HR, your SOs, or authorities both higher and human. Welcome to Work-Life Imbalance, an advice show focusing on workplace and lifestyle issues. Any resemblance to actual advice, living or dead, or actual wisdom is purely coincidental. I'm your co-host, Frank Eastman.
And I am your, apparently, main host, Derek Lewis.
Well, we can both be co-hosts.
That is true. I guess that is how it works. I guess it's either both be co-hosts or one be the superhero, other be the sidekick. Is that how it works?
We can do it that way, but I figure, we're equal partners in this deal.
Okay, yeah. I don't see myself as being a superhero so much, so yeah, that works.
Well, I mean, I am a superhero, but...
Are you a superhero or a supervillain? I think that's important to establish.
You might have caught me on that one.
All right, so, got something I want to talk to you about.
All right.
This is near and dear to my heart. I know that we've talked about it more generally in the past. So what is your feeling on the new season of The Great British Bake Off? Have you watched it?
I haven't seen the latest season. No.
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 Yeah. I want to talk about how you feel about the new hosts and the new judge. It's really important to me.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I am an admittedly terrible person.
Well, I mean, that confirms it.
Well,
sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, it was like when I knew that Mary Berry wasn't going to be there and they were going to change the hosts. I guess I was a little heartbroken.
And I totally get that. I really do. I promise. But Jessica and I watched the whole of the new series, and see, I'm saying series. It's because it's for the Great British Bake Off, and they go series, not seasons. That's very topical. You should appreciate that.
You're very British now.
But no, so you have you still have Paul Hollywood there. I mean, he's the silver fox. I mean, he is the cornerstone of the show. Apparently, literally cannot replace him. But yeah, instead of Mary Berry, they got Prue Leaf, which I thought that she was a very very charming lady. The one thing that I was really kind of disappointed is that Mary Berry was all about soggy bottoms.
Yeah,
like that was like world hunger and soggy bottoms were her two main causes.
Yeah,
like
no, definitely.
If she could end both of those, the world would be right.
And I don't necessarily disagree with her.
Yeah, I agree too. But Prue is she's more like, that needs to be crispier, or that needs to be a little bit better of a bake. Like she's not like whipping out the soggy bottoms like I would expect somebody to. Especially the Mary Berry replacement.
Yeah.
And Prue seems to be a little bit, I don't know, maybe she's a little bit of a teetotaler, because, Mary Berry, like, every single episode, if anybody was using, like, gin or some other alcohol in their bake, she was like, ooh. Because Mary Berry loved her tipple.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely all for it. Like,
She wanted to pretend that she didn't, but we all knew.
She was a little coy, but no, she loved that tipple. And the new hosts, because it used to be Sue and Mel.
Right.
Jessica and I just love Sue and Mel.
Yeah. Sue especially.
She is a special creature. But, so they replaced them with Noel Fielding from the Mighty Boosh.
Really?
Which I thought was a little bit of a weird pick. And the other replacement was Sandy Toksvig, which I hadn't seen much about her. Apparently she's fairly beloved in Britain.
Okay.
I'd seen her on QI, which is the show with Stephen Fry, and it's like a panel show.
Right.
Really funny. But I'd seen her on there, and she was always quite a hoot. And apparently she also took over for Stephen Fry in this last season of QI. So we've got to see a lot more about Sandy, and Sandy is fantastic. little bit drier wit than like Mel or Sue, but still super funny and super charming. I'm not going to give any spoilers about the way the season turned out, but on the last episode, when they were basically about to start like the final showstopper challenge, Sandy was crying, like just bawling like a baby.
Aww.
She was like, "I've come to love you all so much, and I can't stand not to be in the tent with all of you." I was like, "Oh my God, Sandy, quit ripping out my heart." It's like, I'm sad enough the season's over. Oh, man.
See, now I'm going to have to go and watch it. I had been heartbroken, to say goodbye to Sue and Mel, but maybe it's time for change.
If they could have just run like the two of them parallel, just like Control C, Control V, from like, channel 1 to channel 4, and just let them both run independently. Hell, Paul Hollywood could do both. I mean, he's versatile.
Yeah.
Who cares? But no, it's nice. It's good. It's not the exact same, but it has all the same charm. Channel 4 did a good job. So, I'm excited that, it's still going to go on, and then they're doing an experiment. Cause I did not mean for this to be the great baking show review of 2018. But they also have the Great American Baking Show,
really?
Which they did the Great American Bake Off years ago.
Right.
They tried it with fucking Jeff Foxworthy.
Well, I mean, when you think America and you're not in America, of course you think Jeff Foxworthy.
But tell me, when you think of Jeff Foxworthy, like, what culinary acumen could he possibly have? And not to say that like Mel or Sue had any particularly strong ones, but like at least they knew about like Tudor pastries and choux pastry. And
yeah, when I think Jeff Foxworthy and baking, I think biscuits in a can.
That is the exact thing that I had in mind. Not even fresh biscuits, like pop open the can, toss them in a pan, and I hope that they come out in time for the gravy. Like,
exactly.
Oh, but no, they rebooted it, because it had been several years. But then they have these two comedians that are just American comedians that I'm not familiar with. I forget what their names are, but it's weird. It's like two food puns, and that's their actual names. And I'm pretty sure that's why they picked them.
Really?
Yeah, it's I have nothing good to say about that. I mean, they're funny. Like, don't get me wrong. But like the guy, he had been a football player, of like apparently an NFL player, and literally all of the things he says is a joke that is a pun between baking and football. Like, it's like, all right, y'all, we're on the 5-yard line. It's time to pull it on into the end zone. I'm like, stop! You're killing my beloved baking show.
Oh man! So this is the one. It was the American one with It had Mary though, right?
No, does not have Mary. It's a guy and Paul Hollywood. So no Mary Berry on that one either. I don't know what show Mary Berry has gone to, but we need to find her. We need to put out an APB. Find out where Mary Berry's gone.
Probably somewhere where there's a lot of gin.
Ample amounts of gin with Mary Berry's name on it. All right, I think we've beat this to death long enough. I'm sorry if our listeners have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
Wait. Could you say that we've overworked this stuff?
It is clearly overworked and overbaked.
Bake's all wrong.
The bake is all wrong on this one.
So, what's on my mind right now, of course, is if we move from life to work, business travel.
Yeah.
Because I've got a big business trip every quarter. We have to go to Boston, the Great White North at this point,
yeah.
for a 1 week long plan-a-palooza, which is ordinarily fine and ordinarily enjoyable, except Well, right now we've got one of those polar vortex hernias going on. And we're going to be flying right into the teeth of like 10-degree weather. And I live in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realize I used to own winter coats, but now I don't because I didn't really feel like spending all that money for the one day a year that it actually got cold.
And by lunch, you were probably warm enough to take it off.
Oh, exactly. It's like I walk out the front door, I go, oh man, I'm glad I've got this coat. And then, midway through the day, I'm like, man, I hate having to carry around this giant coat. So I just haven't bothered to buy a decent-sized winter coat in years. Except, well, Monday, I'm supposed to be flying out to the polar vortex asshole of the world. So I went out to try and find a coat. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I am a gentleman of significant stature.
Yes, quite.
Which is a polite way of saying I am a fat, tall guy.
Both big and tall.
Yes, both big and tall. Yeah, sometimes I have problems finding clothes, but not usually that big of a deal. This whole polar vortex going all the way into the south thing, though, yeah, I went to the cupboard and the cupboard was bare.
Well, see, I think we all kind of like tossed our winter clothes because none of us like this whole global warming climate change thing, but I think we were all kind of expecting it to kind of stay hot in the summer, mild in the winter, because like most of the last 5 have been pretty mild, except for like the great 1-inch thick ice sheet we got in like 2012 or 2013, one of the two. But I think other than that, like we kind of thought that that the cold had forsaken us.
Yeah, well, I guess El Presidente was right, and the Chinese have stopped their hoax and let the cold come back.
They waited to stop the hoax at just the right moment.
Exactly. Or if you're scientifically minded, it could be that the climate is so completely fucked right now that the air patterns that usually keep those polar vortexes up, where they belong in Canada, there are now are letting them sag down into the great United States.
Yeah, and another thing that is changing. You'd expect that if this had happened years ago, you'd have at least heard a sorry from Canada. I mean, they haven't even apologized for letting their cold slip down here.
No, not yet. I mean, maybe someone should let them know. They might not realize that their polar vortex has slipped.
Yeah, they may have stopped paying attention to America, roughly, I don't know, 11 months ago, 12 or 13 months ago, something like that. Yeah. So did you actually find a coat, or did you just have to fashion something out of like some tarpaulin?
Oh, nay, yes. I have not found a coat. At this point, I am probably going to be wearing some sort of rags and and blankets fashioned into some sort of warm cocoon.
Well, I'll make sure to bring maybe a fleece blanket or something like that to throw onto the blanket pile to protect you.
I should probably be fine. But if we get stuck in like a snowdrift or a drive-through window, I'm going to end up looking like Michael Pollard and Scrooged.
Now that is a reference I've not thought of in a while.
We're just a little past the season, but
yeah. Speaking more generally about that, like some people that I talk to, and some like job postings that I'll see, they say lots of travel. Some people consider that a perk, but yeah, I mean, came into this job not knowing that there was going to be travel, and then all of a sudden have travel every 3 months. It's not that I hate it. I mean, I'm glad that I get to see some other part of the country occasionally, but not like this, Frank.
Yeah, the bloom is a little off the rose at this point. I actually did not take a promotion specifically because that promotion was going to involve more travel.
More travel?
To the same Boston area. So I would have been going up there 8 times a year instead of 4 times a year.
Oh, and that would be terrible.
Which I'm one of those people, I don't dislike business travel. I really like hotel rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I like that I can hang all of my clothes up and put all my things in the places I want them to be, and then I can return later, and they're all there.
As opposed to the home life where it's just like a pack of cougars that are on the prowl for loose clothes.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I put things down, and it's like, I thought that was there, but I guess it's not, or, I put my shoes where I want them, or... Yeah, no, it allows me to at least have the illusion that I myself am not a totally messy person, although I know for a fact that the mess in my house is, 50% mine at the very least.
Right.
But, and I also like airplanes. I honestly do. I like being up in the air. It does not bother me. I'm not one of those people that is disturbed. What I don't like is all the shit between the car and the airplane.
Yeah.
That I could do without.
Yeah, the TLC by the TSA, not exactly the high point of the trip. Especially with you, ever since they put those new scanners in, and all of a sudden it's like you go in, everything lights up. It's like, okay, buddy, let's get physical.
Exactly.
Start pulling out the gloves.
I've gotten felt up by more men since I had to start traveling regularly than I have in my entire life.
Was it 1, 10, like 20?
Yeah, don't open the book of my life in the middle and start reading.
Look, I'm not judging. We've said it before. We are a judgment-free zone. True. Just want to know you.
Yeah,
better.
no, I mean,
want to know you like those guys that pat you down.
I mean, well, let's see. We're up to 8 per year because we got 4 trips a year, and I get it coming and going. But bump. So yeah, 8's definitely above what the yearly average had been prior to that.
Okay, all right. So you kept it pretty conservative before.
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of straight laced.
Yeah.
So how about an audience question?
Let's do it.
All right. So this one was sent in by Mortified Megan from Midtown. It's a really good name. I like it. So when you're walking down a hall at work and you see someone you only kind of know or don't really know, what do you do? Eye contact? Polite smile? Hi? No hi? It's so awkward I want to just rip my face off whenever this happens.
Oh, yeah, this is a problem constantly. I mean, personally for myself, like I am a somewhat social introvert. Like I can pretend really well that I like people.
You don't say.
And that I don't know, that I'm allowed to be, that I should be allowed to be around people. Like
that every once in a while they let you loose.
Yeah. But yeah, I constantly have this problem because, there are some people where it's like, the rules of engagement. Like, if I see somebody who is a decent acquaintance, like somebody that like I know, whenever we're going down the hall, kind of do the bob down or the bob up, as it were, as us guys do. And you never want to like do the opposite of what the other one does. Like you wait for the first person to bob and the other person matches. Like you don't want to have the situation where I go up and somebody else goes down, and that just, you immediately have to like Thunderdome situation to go in, one come out.
Blades to the death.
Instant trial by combat is required. But no, if like passing in the hall or like holding the door for somebody or having the door held for you, for some reason, I lose the ability to speak. It's really weird. Like if I pass you in the hall, I'll be like, "Hey Frank," it's like no big deal. But if I don't know the person that well, like I'll be like, "Hi, yeah, thanks for holding the door for me." It's like, maybe I won't say like a full sentence or anything, but I'll be like, "Yeah, thanks." Like I will not actually speak the words out loud. I'll just mouth them. And like, it's not like I've ever had this behavior observed to me. or, shown to me. It's just like, yeah, if you don't know the person, maybe it's like a not talking to strangers thing. It's like you can mouth words to strangers, but you can't actually talk to them.
That's true. Well, I mean, it's been ingrained in us since children of the '80s that you shouldn't talk to strangers.
Right.
For me, it's somewhat easier, just because I've already got something of a reputation of being a complete asshole. And I've got something of that 1,000-yard stare, so I can just lock that thing in and march down the hall.
And nobody wants to attract the attention of the dangerous man.
Yeah, exactly. And then I can just go about my life in peace.
I can see that.
So I think from what you should do, it depends on what kind of person you want to be in the office. Like,
right,
you would like to present a more friendly sort of front, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as like my coworkers, like even with people that aren't on my team, like I tend to build like I'll get to like that superficial friendly relationship like immediately. Like it doesn't take very long for me. So the more people that I have spoken more than a sentence to, as that list grows, the more and more people I have to be worried about and not give them the 1,000-yard stare and act like I don't see them.
But that's
I try to be very friendly. I try to maybe have like a quip or like some. I'm kind of putting myself on blast here, but like the occasional finger gun.
Oh no!
But see the problem is that the thing is like I play it off like I'm doing the finger guns ironically.
Oh no!
But like, how many times can you use that before it's not ironic?
Yeah, no.
Is there a number? Like
3.
Oh no!
3's the number.
Oh,
is it more than 3 now?
Oh, it's orders of magnitude more than 3.
Yeah, no, you're just that guy.
Oh no!
You've become that guy.
That's bad.
Yeah, no, sorry, I hate to break it to you. You become that guy, and that's the danger. See, that's why I maintain, this good distance between me and all human contact.
And this air of mystery.
Exactly. So I don't have that build up to the point where I realize that I'm doing something and it's become, that guyism.
Yeah, that's a decent point. But then you have like, these people that I consider kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say psychopath because you don't do it and you are a psychopath. So it's not all psychopaths, but like some people have this tendency to just, no matter who it is, no matter what they're doing, they will pretend like they don't see you.
Right.
And it's not like everybody's doing it to me, but
no,
I think I would feel some amount of bad if everybody was doing it to me. But no, it's just like individual people doesn't do it to everybody. And so like, the first couple weeks that I notice somebody's like that, I'll still kind of try. I'd be like, hey, I'll give them the nod and, hopefully prompt them to give the nod back.
Right.
But then after a couple weeks of them not returning the nod, then I'll just kind of, I'll play their game. I will pretend like I don't see them.
Yeah.
And it works great.
I mean, it seems to work out well for those people. I try not to be that unapproachable. I like to just allow my resting asshole face to be the guard between me and possible human interaction.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like most of yours is like, somewhat of a superficial deterrent, because I've never said, hello to you and just received like an instant unprompted karate chop to the neck.
Exactly.
Anything like that. Like it's not like I've sprung a trap and all of a sudden, mortal harm has come to my body.
No. I have to be unwelcoming yet welcoming.
Right. Yeah. If somebody sees through the facade, then it's like, oh, hi. But no, it takes a brave man to break that illusion.
Well, I have to be able to do that because, as a manager, I have to allow people to approach, but just as long as they've genuflected appropriately beforehand.
as long as they understand how dangerous it truly is.
So I think to answer the audience question, Megan's question, it really seems like it depends on what kind of balance you want to strike, huh?
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's probably some complexity that we're overlooking, because here's the thing. Both you and I are in particular industries. We're industries surrounded by developers, by a lot of people, a lot of tech people, people that by and large don't get hired specifically for their social skills.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
So I think this advice this advice may not translate across industries.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a cashier, I would not suggest my approach.
just don't even talk to the customers. Like, don't even tell them. Just point to the screen of how much they owe you and how much their change will be. It's like, okay, whenever you go up to this cashier, don't make eye contact. That's the worst thing you can do. Just point to on the board what your order will be. Don't customize. For the love of God, do not customize.
And I mean, like anything, it seems there's even some variation there, because I know there are those restaurants where they're sort of famous for the wait staff just being absolutely brutal to the customers. Well, I mean, like Nikki's here in Birmingham.
Yeah.
If you pull out your cell phone, out of the line. You take more than 5 seconds to make a decision, out of the line.
But see, I think that's built a little bit on like respect. If you are disrespectful to, the people serving you food by being on your cell phone, or, being disrespectful to the people behind you by not being prepared, I can see that being kind of like, when you step in the doors, that like those are the things that can get you in trouble. Especially now that, like you said, I'd completely forgotten, but yeah, it is clearly rules of engagement that. It's a joke now. I mean, they're still going to throw you out of line, but it's kind of funny when it happens.
That's true. Yeah, for Megan from Midtown, I think we're going to go with definitely what you should do is the 1,000-yard death stare, and then you can dial it in from there. The 1,000-yard death stare we have now proven is applicable everywhere up to and including customer service. So let's just go ahead with that. Then you've already minimized your impact,
right?
In terms of incoming personal contact from other human beings, and then if you find yourself wanting more human interaction, if you want the contact with other people, you can dial it back a little bit.
And I think the only thing that we have proven without a doubt that is the worst thing to do, the finger guns. Yeah, definitely the finger guns.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Then you're just that guy.
I'm not gonna lie, Frank. The amount of pure self-loathing that's setting in from being the finger gun guy, it's a deep dark pit.
No self-loathing. I mean, if we're gonna go to a deep dark pit, we should probably go to the internet.
That's a good point. That's a good way to shake this. I find that when I am loathing myself, it's easy to go to the internet and find other people that are much more deserving of my loathe.
Exactly.
Right, I got one for you. Okay. This one is by user Beaks.
Beaks?
Yeah, there's like a B with like
Beaks.
8 E's, KS. So
all right.
Yeah, I submitted without comment. Should I have eaten this unattended cake in the break room? I found this left unattended on the break room table, took it back to my desk, and ate it. Should I have left it there? It seems suspicious. And the picture that goes along with it is this not so fresh looking cake with with a fork and knife already on the plate that he took it from. Wow.
So did he take a picture of the cake prior to taking a piece, or is this a picture of his own plate with a piece of cake?
So in the picture, you can see where the rest of the cake was laying, because there's like a kind of like it seems kind of like a roulade or something like that, where it's like a long kind of cake. And so you can kind of see the rest of the area on the plate where it was kind of sitting. So, and he also says, I found this left unattended on the break room table. So I'm assuming, and if for nothing else than for comedic purposes, we're going to assume that this is exactly how he found it.
Yes. Which means it was poisoned.
See, I would agree that anything left unattended is safer to assume that it is poisoned. That's just like, learn that at 5 years old, gonna carry that to my grave type of thing. But the thing is, the fact that there was a fork and knife already on the plate doesn't lead me to believe that this is a trap for somebody to be poisoned. It leads me to believe that he just stole somebody's cake that they were eating and were, temporarily interrupted, expecting to return to their cake, and they would not find cake waiting for them.
Oh. A case of cacus interruptus.
Oh, in flagrante delicioso?
Exactly.
Oh, man.
So we have a cake thief who has posted their dirty deed on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, this is not somebody who took a piece of cake that, the offers were somewhat suspect. He's just a cake thief. Now, we have talked about my my love of food, both in person and on this podcast before.
Right.
Yeah, so if I sat down and I was just, and also, I mean, this guy looked like he was just digging into the whole cake himself. Like, just take the whole roulade and just go to town. If I have chosen that to be my activity for the day, I've already pushed some other things off, rescheduled some things. This is a commitment that I have made. I feel that if I, was 3/4 of the way done and got a phone call and I had to step out and I came back and that cake wasn't there, I would feel pretty off kilter. It's like, okay, so can I put some stuff back on the schedule, or can I still take the next 2 hours to be comatose and take some sort of disgust nap or something? Or do I have to schedule it, kind of crank it back to maybe an hour of disgust nap?
Well, here's the thing. See, it should be fairly easy to tell whose cake you've stolen based on who in the office seems like the kind of person who would eat an entire cake entirely on their own.
Well, I get your point. I agree with you. But the problem is this by reputation or by reading the book by the cover or judging the book by the cover? Because I don't think I'm being too bold here, but I think both of us are kind of on that docket of people that might be accused of eating a whole cake in one sitting.
This is true. Yeah, if someone were to find an entire cake that had been eaten and there was just a fork and a knife, they would be like, Frank was here.
God. Oh, no. Okay, so let's go back. So disregarding the fork and knife that's sitting there and the cacus interruptus that we have assumed, what are the other flaws in assuming that this is something that should be eaten? I mean, poisoning, obviously.
Right.
But this doesn't look like a particularly appetizing cake. If you're going to make a honey pot for, to poison somebody, you'd want it to look like a really good cake, wouldn't you?
This is true. I
mean, this is somebody at Walmart got fancy with, the half-inch of sheet cake they had left, and they're, overworked. Again, we're going back to baking, apparently. Last time we were talking about beefy men. This time we're talking about cakes.
Put them together. We've got beef cake.
Oh, I laughed so hard my headphone fell out. But no, this does not look like an appealing cake. This is not something that is irresistible. Um, ooh, so
So this is shame cake.
exactly. You're not going after all people. You're going after a very particular type of person, a type of bottom feeder that doesn't mind 2 to 3 day old open air Walmart cake.
There's someone at the office like that. There's always someone at the office like that. So I think we're back again to you can narrow it down. Like, I think people would look at you and I and go, yeah, that guy, he could eat an entire cake, but I don't know if they would look at us and go, yeah, he's going to get a 3-day-old sheet cake from Walmart and just tuck in
That
with
is
a fork.
exactly right. And you know what? I have some pride in that. I may be a fat bastard, but at least I am discerning. I
Exactly.
demand decent, if not somewhat expensive food to stuff into my gob.
Yeah, if I'm going to eat a completely unconscionable amount of cake, I want it to at least be good cake.
So going down that route, if this was a cake meant to appeal to the shameful bottom feeders that have no discretion about what they eat, is this kind of like a culling? Are they trying to like weed out some of the bad seed? Like, what are they doing?
I don't know. I think in this instance that we're probably down to either this was a cake that was purposefully left in the break room because it was terrible cake. That happens a lot. But the thing that the thing that I will point to that suggests that's not the case is the fork. Like a knife can be left with a cake like that with the suggestion that you can cut a piece, take a piece. But a fork suggests someone sitting down and actively noshing down on this cake.
I agree with that. That's
and I just don't see the kind of person who is going to nosh down on 3-day-old sheet cake to be the Machiavellian sort of mastermind to leave poisoned cake laying around in the office.
I agree with that. All right, so let's see. Could be poisoned. You could be interrupting somebody else's terrible mistake. Why else? Assuming that it is completely innocently left there for somebody else to consume. Is there any situation? I mean, I guess there is, some situation where the cake would be acceptably eaten, but you think that wouldn't they have like put a little sign out there or something if they
free
cake, or at least taking away the fork? I mean,
yeah, the fork is the thing that makes it problematic. If it's got a fork, like a fork is an international symbol for I am actively eating this.
I just noticed something. So even going on your vein of international symbol that's recognized in the culinary field, the fork and knife are sitting at 10 and 2. So that is meaning that they are done. So what we have here is we have somebody that ate 3/4 of a cake, decided that was enough, and set the silverware down and left it. Either for some other carrion person, some vulture person to come and finish it, or they were a disrespectful bastard that left it for somebody else to clean up.
Yeah, now we've got one of two ways. Although, I'm trying to put myself into the body or the mind of this person. I think I'm probably already in the body of this person.
I was about to say, we may already have some of the physical characteristics of a serial cake eater.
But putting myself in the mind of this person, I'm going to have to say that, the shame generation from I have just sat down and eaten 3/4 of a 3-day-old sheet cake, They left it, but it might not have been with ill intent to make someone else clean it up. I think they had to retreat from the battlefield at that point.
So that you raise a really good point. This may not have been a conscious choice to leave it where it lay. They could have had some sort of physical distress in which they were removed from the cake. Either some sort of intestinal distress that they had to get the quickest point from A to B to that restroom, or one could only guess the more obvious one would be just a flat coronary. Just literally having a heart attack after consuming that much cake. Yeah, so maybe we're being judgmental. Maybe we're calling this guy an asshole where it doesn't really belong. All right, so I believe we have gotten every single morsel that we can get out of this cake question. So do you want to do another audience question, or do you want to go back to the internet again?
Let's go back to the internet.
Yeah, there's a little bit more shaking around in that barrel of fish.
Yeah, definitely.
The question is, this is from a user that their name has disappeared. So we're going to call him Sturvel.
Sturvel. All right. I like Sturvel.
So Sturvel asks, how to beat feeling sleepy in the office? I'm a 24-year-old high-tech professional. So can we assume that he is is he a tech professional who is high?
Which is possible if he lives in several states.
Exactly. Or is he a professional who is high-tech?
I'm imagining he's trying to say that, but if he's trying to say that, then he obviously isn't.
Or he's obviously high. Either way, so tech professional, and my job entails me to spend about 10 hours a day in front of the computer. When I get home, I work as a freelancer, which makes it another 4 or 5 hours in front of the computer. I hardly get to watch TV. I sleep for about 5 to 6 hours a day, then I come to the office in the morning. I still feel that I could do with some sleep. Do you guys have any inputs? Who I can beat this? Little typo there. And then there's an update underneath. I am not into a heavy breakfast. I normally have 2 cheese sandwiches for breakfast. Those are competing statements.
Yeah.
I am not into a very heavy breakfast, and I normally have 2 cheese sandwiches for breakfast. So what is the comparison here? By what measure is 2 cheese sandwiches along with some fruits, as he said? How is that considered not a very heavy breakfast?
I mean, if we're comparing it to like a full English fry-up.
I mean, absolutely. But yeah, I've got no other indication of where he's from or what is more culturally acceptable. But yeah, in America, where one biscuit or a bowl of cereal is considered a decent breakfast, yeah, I think that's a very heavy breakfast. And then he goes on to say, for lunch I have normal food, and he's got ellipses on either side of food. So I'm assuming.
So food here is suspect.
Right. And some more fruits, which I carry from home. Well, that would make me tired if I carried a box of fruit literally from my home to my workplace.
Yeah, it depends on how much fruit we're talking.
Yeah. And it says then I have dinner around 9:30, then more computer. I feel that there's an obvious answer in here, which is absolutely you are working too much and sleeping not enough.
Yeah, that is one reasonably straightforward cause of feeling sleepy is, hey, I work 16 hours a day.
Yeah. That would absolutely do it for me. Even if I, got 16 hours of work and then a solid 8 hours of sleep, I would still feel like death. But back when I was gaming, I would probably get on average 5 hours of sleep, maybe 6 hours if I got bored, and went to bed early. And and I felt like crap a lot. When I switched to, just something simple as getting like at a minimum 7 hours of sleep a day, I was like, holy crap. You mean to tell me that I don't have to be a complete asshole for the first 4 hours of the day every day? This is what normal people feel like? It was actually quite enlightening.
Now see, I tend to average about 5 hours. So
So that explains it.
how much of my general personality is just lack of sleep?
Well, and I mean, to get to the root of it, I think we have to question when your general demeanor started. So did you just pop out the womb, glaring at people and talking about low productivity and trying to encourage synergy?
Pretty much.
So, I mean, if that's the case, then I think the sleep is just, maybe adding an extra 10% on top of that.
Maybe. I hope that's probably it. Or else, I could just take a nap one day and wake up a completely different person.
That is terrifying.
As a child, I had an L-shaped desk in my room. I didn't quite have a cubicle set up, but it could have been a cubicle.
See, I was wondering where you were going with that for a second, and I was like, an L-shaped desk. Did like John Wayne Gacy have a L-shaped desk, or?
Nope, just, your average productivity desk there in my childhood bedroom.
Your parents painted your walls, just like an eggshell. Put up a couple of whiteboards, or I guess in that age it would have been chalkboards, if they'd invented chalk.
How old do you think I am?
Not old enough that you couldn't beat me to a pulp. That's for sure.
But yeah, no, I'm hoping that my personality isn't just chronic sleeplessness. Although I will say, I don't get enough sleep. I am worse for several hours in the morning. If that says anything. By the time I go into work, I am bright, shiny, and peppy compared to my morning self. If I don't get my morning shower, nobody wants to be near me.
I mean, I'm that way too. I mean, it doesn't matter what time. It has much less to do about what time of day it is. It's just, when did I do my routine for the morning? If I didn't get up, brush my teeth, and take a shower, I'm not awake yet. It may be 3 PM, and I've been walking around and muttering for 4 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, but I am not awake yet.
Oh yeah, no, that's me too.
Yeah, so there have been some times where we've had to hurry up and do something in the morning, and I'm like, here's what I'm going to do. If you set your alarm for X, I'm going to set my alarm for X minus 15 minutes, and then I'm going to take a shower, or else we may not arrive at our destination because I've exploded, just spontaneously combusted out of rage or just general hatred.
No, I mean, I have said this in the past. We are 3 days into me not having hot water from a Mad Max level, just complete psychotic break. Just me in a leather Speedo, nothing else but a hockey mask, and a gigantic battle axe made of a stop sign.
Does it have to be a stop sign, or can it also be like one of those kind of triangular yield signs?
I mean, it could be a yield sign, but
I guess you'd have more points and edges with a stop sign.
Yeah, I've always probably just been attracted to that stop sign because it makes people stop.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But see, I think it's funny. And you aren't lying. You have made mention of that exact sentiment in the past. And it always kind of surprises me that it's like for me, I might be groggy or cranky, if, civilization ended and I couldn't shower or whatever, bathing luxuries I may have available to me. Mine would be the other normal problems like, I haven't checked my email in 3 days. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm probably going to go round up some apostles and storm the castle. Or like, I haven't checked my, not necessarily social media anymore, but like I haven't done my other somewhat first world problem type of things. Or I haven't had Taco Bell. See, when I have Taco Bell, I feel like I am going to die. When I haven't had Taco Bell, I feel like other people should have to die.
Yeah, that's the double-edged sword of Taco Bell.
And when I have Taco Bell, I feel like I'm going to die, and other people wish for death. So
yeah. I mean, the bell giveth and the bell taketh away. And I think we're back to the food, but this guy, I mean, he seemed obsessed with what it is that he's eating. He's like, hey, I'm tired, and sort of casually mentions, because I work 16 hours a day, but then he goes in depth into like, in the morning, I have 2 cheese sandwiches.
Right. The only part that he's not specific about is the suspicious, double ellipsis food that he eats for lunch.
Yeah, that's true. It could be Taco Bell.
And he also cites, I have sandwiches for breakfast along with, and the way he puts it, along with some fruits, plural, fruits.
More
for
than
lunch
one,
I have normal food, and then some more fruits, which I carry from home. I need some specifics on this. Because like, I don't know if I've ever eaten more than one fruit at a time. Like, I have never eaten an apple and said, let's do that again.
That was so good, I want to try that rodeo once more.
Right. It's like, I don't think I got the full experience of apple. Let me have a second. No. Like, I'm a firm believer in exactly 1 apple a day keeps the doctor away. Any more, and what else could I invite? Like, 0 apples a day, you get visited by the doctor. 1 apple a day, nobody messes with you. 2 apples a day, fucking wolves. Like,
yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Some possible dark rite involving 3 apples.
Involving the wolves that came when you ate the second one.
The only thing I can think of is this guy needs to stop eating the South Equatorian snooze fruit. Or he needs to back off the work just a little bit. I agree. And I'm, at first he said high tech, and I didn't necessarily believe him. But then when he said, I work 10 hours a day and I go home and I work 5 more on a side project, software developer.
Yeah, clearly a software developer.
Every software developer I know is like, oh man, I got to go home so I can work on my side project.
I gotta get off work on time so I can go get to work at home on time. Yeah.
See, as a project manager, when I leave, I've left. I don't have any more work to do at the house.
Right. I mean, I guess you could project manage your family.
They dislike that.
You can get some benefit from that, but
yeah, no. So, yeah, I guess we've just got a software developer who's working himself too hard and then being sleepy.
Yep. Everybody, work as hard as you need to, but sleep about as hard as you work. Find some time in there to play, have some fun, do some healthy things. If not, you don't have to go truly like work out or anything, but take a few minutes, meditate, do some things for yourself. Yeah, and if you're still having sleep trouble when you really kind of get everything back in line, go get a sleep study. And being completely serious here, go get a sleep study. You may think you have a handle on your shit when it comes to sleep. You may not.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, both you and I, Frank, we both use CPAP machines.
Yep.
We have consumed food to the point where our considerable human girth can no longer be supported by our measly respiratory structure.
I have outgrown this frail mortal coil already.
You're becoming too powerful. And part of your Mad Max thing will probably be like that mask from Fury Road, where the guy just has that big mask in front of him, but it's not going to be strapped to like whatever gaseous thing. It's just going to be a CPAP machine.
Yeah, pretty much. Or if it's the future and I've no longer got electricity, at that point, that's when I'm going to need my many slaves who will breathe for me throughout the evening.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh. CPAP is a stand for like Carl's positive air pressure. Oh, God.
Just one Carl isn't going to do it. I mean, I'm going to need like at least 10 or 12 children taking turns.
There you go. Child positive air pressure.
Yeah, there we go. Child positive air pressure.
Oh.
We must breathe into this tube lest the master die in the evening.
But what if master died? We would be free. It's like, no, don't say that. Don't say that. Master will hear.
And wake up cranky because he hasn't.
While we were talking, we weren't breathing for him.
Exactly.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So this person, yeah, they definitely need to either work less, stop eating terrible, questionable food with ellipses around it, go get a sleep study, or my last possible thought on the subject is they didn't say where they were from.
Mm-hmm.
Tsetse flies.
This isn't Jumanji, Frank.
Well, I mean, it was a theory. It wasn't necessarily a good theory. Send your questions on workplace or lifestyle issues to questions@WLIcast.com. This has been the Work-Life Balance Podcast. I'm Frank Eastman.
I'm Derek Lewis.
And with that, I think we'll need to transfer you.